she devils and demons, this is Nurse Hatchet. You are listening to the Wolf Pack.
The genre of horror is a great expanse. We want to explore it. We've spent years building our credibility, our reputation, interviewing people from all levels of horror, discussing visual and literary horror. This is our exploration. This is horror.
Wow, that's odd.
Guess who?
That's an intro.
Yes, it is.
Come on, Stimpy. The beach will be our litter box. Hello, and welcome to Full Spectrum Horror. I'm your host, Rand Hoek, and with me, as always, is Stimpy. Say hello, Stimpy.
Yeah, this time I'm not going to be doing a voice. Gordon scares everybody. This is William Pattison, king of Splatter Punk and author of the Camp Crystal Lake novels, and your co-host. Anyway,
Can you do the
huh?
Can you do the voice of Stimpy?
No, I can't do the voice.
Oh,
I never watched Ren and Skimpy.
what?
Nope. Ren and Skimpy. Nope.
You're missing out.
Oh boy.
The first 2 seasons of that show are just insane.
Yeah. Well.
Insanely funny, that is.
Okay. Well, I'm more of a Daria person myself. Daria, Beavis and Butthead.
You just pissed off a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, I know.
Eric Morris, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, indeed. Alrighty. So, anyways, yeah, because I mean, this is a very important month, isn't it, Highland?
Yes. Tell our listeners how important.
Ah, yes, because this month, my publishing company, WCP Enterprises Publishing, has published a new book. And it just happens to be written by none other than the horror sex symbol and horror Jesus, Mr. Christopher Highland. And the book title is The Witch and the Prince, and it is a contemporary fairy tale that takes place in Chicago, and it's about a young man named Michael and his friend who is a witch from the fairy realm. And she helps Michael out. But anyways, I shouldn't be the one telling you all this because, the author is right here, the new Tolkien of our time, Mr. Chris.
No, I'm not comparable to him. I mean, I don't have singing in every other page or paragraph like he did.
No, but still, I mean, if they're comparing the guy that did Game of Thrones to Tolkien, you can be included too. So there.
No, I'm no way in any comparison to George R. R. Martin either.
Boy, you underscore yourself, don't you, Mr. Highland?
Well, in some cases, less is more.
Yes, indeed.
you don't want to write, to the point where people get tired of reading, and you don't want to stretch a story out to infinity.
No, you really don't. I kind of noticed that with Dune. What was that? It was going way, way. It's gone way, way all over the place. Of course, that's a double generation book series. So, what do you expect? But anyways, yeah, people, you can find Mr. Highland's epic novel on Kindle and in print at Amazon.com. So definitely get out there, show Mr. Highland some love, all you ladies out there. Just think about it. Grab your copy of the book and just think, this was typed up by Mr. Highland. You can sit there and hug it. Alrighty. So anyways, yeah, but also, we need to mention these things that we support, which is, one that Mr. Highland really admires is, of course, Audible.com. Right, Mr. Highland? You love Audible.com, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. And Audible.com for $14.99 per month after a 30-day trial where you get 3 free audiobooks when you sign up. You get after the trial, you get 1 audiobook and 2 Audible originals each month, and exclusive guided wellness programs. You will get an email reminder 5 days before your trial ends. So check out Audible.com and tell them that Mr. Highland sent you, because he's their number one customer. Alrighty. And of course, just remember that Full Spectrum Horror is brought to you by Toastios.
Again.
Time your friends invite you out and you're always busy, like Mr. Highland. Eventually, they invite someone else. Like, say, Christopher Highland. Do you want Christopher Highland hanging out with your friends, taking selfies, bonding over chips and chips, becoming BFFs forever? Suddenly, you will find Christopher Highland at your sister's wedding, where you're supposed to be, or even be her bridesmaid in your place. And Mr. Highland does not look good in mauve, let me just tell you. And you've just gotten Highlanded. Don't get Highlanded. Get with Toastios.
God, I didn't realize we were going to do that commercial again this month.
I thought, why not?
I keep waiting for you to mention Women in Horror Month.
Ah, yes. And, of course, this month, it is Women in Horror Month. All the ones that are sitting there, oh, God, he's going to talk against Women in Horror Month. No, I haven't done that in like 3 years, because Women in Horror Month has actually gotten their shit together. So, I'm very happy with Women in Horror Month. They're actually doing some really good work. actually they are sponsoring a whole bunch of get-togethers for women author to do readings, and they have a film festival that they are sponsoring as well for all women film directors and that. And just check out their website, and you can see profiles of women in horror and stuff, and all kinds of good stuff. And you should support women in horror, at least until the end of the month. We still got half a month left. I've actually been surprised because they've been doing a lot of the stuff this year, under the radar. So it's kind of odd. But yeah, Mr. Highland and I, we've got a couple of people that we want to recognize on Women in Horror Month, of course. They are two of our honorary Wolfpack members. We got Debbie Rochon, D-Row, queen of all Scream Queens. And we've got the Princess of Scream Queens, Tiffany Shepis Treader. And Tiffany, Mr. Highland specifically asked me to mention that for you. Yeah. Yeah, because Mr. Highland thinks you're great, and he calls you the Shepis. So there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do.
Yes, he does. He calls you the Shepis, and he calls Debbie the Rochon. And of course, the two together, they had, like with me and Mr. Highland, we're like the Abbott and Costello of podcasters, but Debbie and Tiffany, they're called the American Assholes.
Oh, they're not the Wonder Twins?
But they came up with this.
Oh.
That's their little trio called the American Assholes. And actually, Mr. Highland and I are honorary assholes, so there.
Hey.
Seriously, we are. Yeah, and Tiffany made us. Actually, Debbie made us honorary assholes. Don't you remember?
No.
Yeah, she did that on the show for us. We had her on the show a few years ago, and she made us official honorary assholes. So there. Which is cool. I don't mind being an asshole, don't you, Mr. Highland? All righty. So anyways, let's see. We got one more thing before we do horror news, of course. It's Mr. Highland's favorite segment of the show.
I thought you meant the mail was.
Yes. That's it. We are doing fan mail from our fans.
So what's the thing before the news? The mail?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, of course. The part that you absolutely love. Mr. Highland, he's very pushy about this because, all month he's always, did we get more mail? Did we get more mail? How much mail have we got? Do we have enough mail for the show? What are they saying about us in the mail?
I'm not that curious.
Yes, you are.
I'm not so.
Like
I'm
once
not
a
a
week.
I'm not a. No, I'm. I'm not a. A curious 5-year-old asking about it.
Okay. Well, anyways, alrighty. So, this one you're gonna love the first one.
What?
First one is from Michelle from Chicago. And no, I don't think it's that Michelle. Mr. Highland.
You don't think?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think, because she wouldn't open her letter like this. She wouldn't open it with "Greetings, guys." She'd be using 4-letter words. But anyways, greetings, guys. I just finished watching your most recent show, The Mushroom People. I wanted to know if you guys will ever talk about the anthology film that Toho did, Kwaidan. I remember seeing this film in the theater under the title Ghost Stories. If you haven't seen this film, I would highly recommend it. One of its stories was re-envisioned in the film Tales from the Dark Side. Please consider doing this film. I really want to hear your thoughts on it. Oh, yeah, Michelle, I'll tell you something. I love that film. I have it in my collection. It's very hard to find, and it's very hard to find an American dub on it. Usually you have to go through all this, the subtitles and shit, and it, drives me nuts. How about you, Mr. Highland? Have you ever watched?
Yes, I have.
And what do you think? We should do a show on?
It was good. Yes, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually didn't know about the story that was put in Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. Yeah, and I love that film. I mean, I saw it once when I was a kid, and I remembered it all these years, and I found it 20 years ago, and picked it up on videotape, and then, of course, I lost it in my fire and stuff, and I just recently got it back, so I've been very happy about that. Alrighty, so yeah, we'll definitely consider doing a show on that, because I know Mr. Highland, he loves Japanese horror. Alrighty, next one is from Josh from Los Angeles. This is for William. Why did you stop putting Bloodbath Theater on YouTube? I find it harder to find your episodes on Vimeo. I've looked around on YouTube for horror shows like yours, and the only one I find on there is Creature Features. Will you ever consider putting Bloodbath back on YouTube? The answer is no. The thing is that the reason why you can't find any other horror host shows on YouTube is because YouTube has basically pushed everybody out. The reason for this is because of the fact that they are making money off of classic horror films that they have on their YouTube Red channel. So the thing is that they just kept blocking people from doing horror host shows by putting copyright infringements against them, even if the film is public domain. So they're just sitting, they just pushed everybody out. A lot of the people have went to Patreon. Some of them have gone to Vimeo. You know, if you go to Vimeo, you can find the other creature feature show that's done by Mr. Highland and self's friend Al Omega. The reason why only Vince Van Daal's creature features is still on there is because Vince has a business account with YouTube. So he's paying YouTube to keep his show up on there. So they don't hit him with any copyright infringements. So he's allowed to do whatever he damn well pleases, and you know the rest of us got pushed out. So the thing is, Josh, if you want to find Bloodbath Theater, just you know, go on Google and go William Pattison's Bloodbath Theater. Either that, or you can go to author ericmorris.weebly.com, and I've got a link on there for Bloodbath Theater. You know, you can find that on my website. So, I've got every episode of Bloodbath Theater on my Bloodbath Theater website. So if you want to check it out, check it out. You know, it's pretty cool. I just put out the 42nd episode of Bloodbath Theater. Alrighty. So next one is Jamie from Fresno. Hi, Full Spectrum Horror. I have a question for Christopher Highland. Why do you and William do the voices at the beginning of the show? I find it funny, but I just wondering what the purpose was.
It's just to introduce the show.
Yeah, Mr. Highland likes, we're pretty laid back when it comes to this show, and Mr. Highland likes to do his voices. And, when he started doing introductions, it kind of helped him. It helped relax him to do Smithers and that once in a while.
You mean Mr. Burns?
Yeah, Mr. Burns and Smithers. You do Smithers as well.
Occasionally.
Yeah, occasionally. And, he does these voices. It kind of messes me up once in a while when doing it. So I've kind of gotten into revenge and doing voices on him to get back at him. Like doing Severus Snape and that, Mr. Potter. What are you doing, Mr. Potter?
Or Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, yes. Good evening, Mr. Highland. Yeah, I do all kinds of different stuff. I do a little bit of voice work myself, so Mr. Highland and I we like to throw that out there. It's one of our talents. So it just makes the show a little bit more fun. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jamie, and I'm glad you asked the question, because a lot of people would be going, "Oh well, they're just nuts." No, we're not just nuts. We're nuts with a purpose. We enjoy this stuff. Alrighty, here is our last one for this month, and I think Mr. Highland's gonna love this one. This is Yakim from Oakland. Okay, I gotta get the voice right. Speaking of doing voices. You boys be bitchin'. I love your shit. I love them old freaky horror films. And I love hearing about new books and t-shirts and shit. Keep up the good work, Bloods. Okay. Yeah, we know. Yeah, he's definitely from Oakland. I can hear that.
I wonder if this is Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't think so.
You never know.
No. This is
You never know.
definitely Oakland. It has that African American flair. Let's put it that way.
Oh, come on. Joaquin Phoenix is an actor. You don't think he can't? He can't.
He isn't from Oakland, Mr.
Oh,
Hyde.
excuse me.
No, actually, if I recall, Joaquin Phoenix is from Gotham, from your
Really?
part of country.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So there.
That's
Okay, yeah. So thank you, Yakeem. I mean,
thanks.
we take a lot of pride. We work hard to try to find the information about this stuff, and I mean, shoot, I'm always looking around the internet trying to find T-shirts and stuff that would be interesting for the fans and that. And Mr. Highland's always looking for books and stuff. He's the book guy. I'm the memorabilia stuff, and works out really good.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we got the old freaky movies that we just love. So, that always keeps for good subject matter. So, anyways, why don't you guys, join with Michelle, Josh, Jamie, and Yakeem, and send us some fan mail. You can send your fan mail to the Eric Morris Show at gmail.com. Definitely send it there, and I will find it. I have to go, I have to dredge through a lot of crap mail too, a lot from,
Tell our listeners how much
stalkers and
tell us-
stuff. And
Tell our listeners how much garbage mail you get.
oh, believe me, I get about, probably 150 a week that I have to go and dredge through. It's terrible. Most of it is, these ones sending death threats and stuff, and saying that they hate me, and saying all kinds of other crap. But you know what? I don't care. Let them talk. We do what we do.
It's probably from the same people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not afraid of a couple of drunken two bearded losers.
Well, at least it's not from producers or directors, because if that happened, that's when you've really made it.
Actually, some of the people who absolutely hate me are people in the industry, which is funny. So I've made it, and thus you've made it, Mr. Highland.
I do declare.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, hell, recently I got a piece of mail from one that we know, that we know quite a bit, and he was sitting there going, well, Mr. Highland will probably sell more copies than your entire Symphony of Death crap. And it's like, yeah, right, jackass.
How do you know?
How do who know?
You.
I don't know. But I sincerely doubt that that you're going to sell more than an entire series of books put together. Not going to worry about it, because I don't worry about how many copies I sell, just as long as people enjoy it. That's the more important thing. People get so worried about numbers and stuff, you know. It's kind of ridiculous. Alrighty. So, anyways, let's see. So now it is time for horror news, and Mr. Highland has spent the entire month, the entire month going across the internet looking for that strange, that horror news.
Yeah, I certainly have.
Yes, he has. Worked really hard. So there.
I will go through these rather quickly. Start at the bottom and work my way up. This is a rather obscure book by Gaston Leroux, who wrote Phantom of the Opera. The Double Life, aka The Man with the Black Feather, will be released on Audible February 25th. If I remember correctly, that's a mystery. And finally, The Unfortunate Furcy, which is a parody on the Catholic Church, and also has demons in it and other stuff, is finally out on Audible. Next, and this is rather a surprise, I didn't expect this to be for this writer's proposed novel. The Notch by Tom Holland is a novel that will be released in June, which is rather surprising. I expected his Fright Night novel to be before anything else, but your guess is as good as mine. Okay, and this next is a pleasant surprise. I'm really proud of this one. The Serpent and the Rainbow will be out as an audiobook May 12th.
Nice. It's been a long time coming, definitely. I love the Serpent and the Rainbow.
Yes, there's another writer who dealt with the same subject matter. Let me see. Oh yeah, William Seabrook. He wrote a similar book. Let me dig it up.
Okay, is that it, Mr. Highland?
No, I'm waiting for the page to boot up.
Wasn't sure. Yeah, I know these things can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Hold on a second. The Magic Island. Yeah. That and Serpent and the Rainbow deal with Haiti and voodoo and such. Okay, next, and this is a movie, because I didn't want you all to think that I only talk about books. Zombie Island Massacre will be out on DVD and Blu-ray on February 25th. This is a movie I've never heard of, but I'm interested in finding out about this one.
Cool.
Next, and I believe this is a true crime book called When the Hangman Came to Galway. Of course, this is about an executioner who hung people in Ireland in the 1800s. And this will be coming out on July 7th. Next, excuse me, The Lady of the Shroud by Bram Stoker will be out on Audible March 10th. And last, but certainly not the least, the first draft of the movie Alien will be adapted as a comic book starting on April 22nd. This will be a 5-issue series. This is the original story by Dan O'Bannon before it was rewritten. So this one I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
And that's all I have. What about you?
Alrighty, I got a bunch of goodies for people. And I know Mr. Highland's going to be excited about a bunch of these. Alrighty, so London 1888 has a Drag Me to Hell design by Megan Mushi available on t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, and wall tapestries. Matthew Theron designed a tribute to I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did to Last Summer. 16 by 24 prints are available on Etsy for $31.60. The Coop has launched a new line of collectibles called Handcrafted by Robots, standing 4.5 to 5 inches tall. Each vinyl figure is sculpted to look like a knitted toy. It features Ghostbusters Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Slimer, and Star Trek's Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock are available for $11.95 each on Amazon. Close your eyes for a second and picture yourself in Cavendish colors, the Slumber Party Massacre apparel. The line includes a Devon Whitehead design on t-shirts, ladies' tank tops, baseball tees, and crew neck t-shirts. A pocket tee design by Hillary White, and an enamel pin designed by Nacho Sanko. Okay, and a Bloody Valentine with Nightmares and Clay Dreams horror movie heart charms. Choose from Alien, Carrie, A Nightmare on Elm Street, It, Trick or Treat, Saw, Child's Play, and Friday the 13th designs. Each piece is handmade out of polymer clay and acrylic paint. Measures approximately 2 inches. They're available as pins, magnets, necklace charms for $14.93 each. Ghostface is the next horror icon to join the Living Dead Dolls line, due out in July or between July and September. It's available to pre-order for $46 via Mezco Toys. The Scream Slasher stands 10 inches tall, has 5 points of articulation, and includes a hunting knife. It comes packaged in a die-cut window box. Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the bathroom, Glitter Garbs has released 3 Ghoulies 2 t-shirts for $27 each. And that is what I have for horror news. Now it is time for another favorite of Mr. Highland's.
Oh, what?
Scream Factory releases.
Again?
And, of course, the first one for this month is one that's close to Mr. Highland and my's heart. Because we just love them to death. Our first Scream Factory release is Rabid, the remake by Jen and Sylvia Soska. It is, I know Mr. Highland's going to get this. This is just came out February 4th. And it is $18.97 on DVD, so Mr. Highland can get it. All right, synopses: a gruesome accident, an experimental treatment, an unstoppable nightmare. Jen and Sylvia Soska bring you a terrifying new take on legendary David Cronenberg's Rabid. Demure and unassuming fashion designer Sarah, played by Gloria Vandervoort from Jigsaw, is horribly disfigured after a ghastly collision. She agrees to undergo an untested procedure involving stem cells to restore her damaged face. This miracle cure causes her to recover beyond her wildest imaginings. Sarah now looks as beautiful as the models she works with. But as her confidence and her sexual appeal grows, it comes with a price. Sarah is now the carrier of a contagion that causes her lovers to become violent spreaders of death. As the disease spirals out of control, time is running out in the race to find a cure. Bonus features: audio commentary with directors and writers Jen and Sylvia Soska, interview with actress Laura Vandervoort, and a trailer. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's one of the first Soska films, since Dead Hooker in the Trunk that I can personally vouch for as being actually fantastic. So definitely check it out. Alrighty, here's one that Mr. Highland will definitely want. The House That Jack Built. This is the director's cut for $18.97. Also DVD format. So I know Mr. Highland's going to go out and get that, definitely. One of the most thoughtful, honest on-screen meditations on morality and personal culpability in quite some time. Andrew Larpin, NPR. Boundary-pushing cinematic visionary Lars von Trier, who did Antichrist, returns with one of his most daring, masterful, provocative works yet. In 5 audacious episodes, failed architect and sociopath Jack, played by Matt Dillon, recounts the extraordinary orchestrations of murder, each as he views them as a towering work of art that define his career as a serial killer. Mixing pitch black humor, transient surrealism, and renegade musings on everything from history to architecture to cinema itself. Von Trier fashions a radical, blazing personal inquiry into violence, art, and the twin acts of creation and destruction. Featuring Uma Thurman, Riley Coe, and Bruno Gaz. Bonus features include both theatrical cut and director's cut of the film. Sonning Prize, an interview with director Lars von Trier. Teaser trailer, theatrical trailer. So what do you think, Mr. Highland? You gonna get that?
What? Huh? What?
What?
Is it noon already?
Alrighty, so next one is definitely one that you're gonna want. And I know this one you'll definitely want, Mr. Highland, because I know you're a huge fan of this. Collector's Edition, Escape from L.A.
Yay, all right.
Oh, damn, I don't have any information. It got cut off. Okay, here's the next one, though, and you'll want this.
You just pissed off our listeners, too.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God, this is great, though. My Bloody Valentine, the deluxe limited edition.
Gee, how different is it from the director's cut from, what was it, 10 years ago?
I don't know. But all I know is that it has a whole bunch of different covers and stuff with it. And it's $34.93, so I know Mr. Highland's going to be asking for that one. My Bloody Valentine stands up with Black Christmas as the best Canada has to offer in the off-slight slasher horror subgenre. Cannapalooza.com. On Valentine's Day, someone always loses their heart. 20 years ago, this small town lost more than that. When supervisors abandoned their posts to attend the town's annual holiday dance, a tragedy claimed the lives of 5 miners. The sole survivor, Harry Warden, was institutionalized but returned for a vengeful massacre on the disaster's first anniversary. 19 years later, the town is gearing up for another Valentine's Day party. Teen sweethearts TJ and Sarah, along with their friend Axel, are among the excited partygoers, but when a box of candy containing an eerie warning and a blood-soaked heart arrives, the townsfolk realize that romance is as good as dead, and so are they. Deluxe limited edition contains the collector's edition 2-disc Blu-ray with slipcover, limited edition rollout poster of the newly designed art from artist Joel Robinson, second slipcover made exclusively for this promotion, featuring newly designed art from artist Laz Marquez, a limited edition 18 by 24 rollout poster of the newly designed art from artist Laz Marquez. So there you go, Mr. Highland. I know you're gonna want that because I know you love My Bloody Valentine, and these are great. You know, the artwork on this is really good. Okay. Anyways, they have, different versions. They have, hold on. Okay. They have the theatrical version, they have the uncut version. With it. Alrighty, so next one here is a classic that I know Mr. Highland loves. X the Unknown. And that one's for $22.99. Alrighty. Entertaining, suspenseful, a well-produced piece of science fiction, a step above many of the monster movies that came out in the same time period. That was from the Telltale Mind. Can anything escape this terror? British commandos on maneuver become ill with the mysterious symptoms and horrific burns. Dr. Adam Royston, Dean Jagger, and an atomic scientist from a nearby research station suspects lethal radiation, but is mystified by the cause. At nearby hospital, the phenomena reappears and engulfs more innocent people, including a hospital orderly whose skin melts away from his body. Dr. Royston speculates that the unknown is on a quest to absorb radiation and expand in size and range as it claims more and more victims. As time runs out, he becomes desperate to trap the entity before its power overwhelms mankind. Bonus features 2K scan of a fine grained film element, audio commentary, Men Who Made Hammer, Jimmy Stagger featurette, World of Hammer sci-fi, and a theatrical trailer. And that is it, Mr. Highland. Movie reviews, sorry. So hopefully Mr. Highland's got some interesting movies he wants to review.
Yes, and this first one, I think you've seen this one before. Afflicted?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I haven't and totally enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I would say it earned its award that it got, or if it got more than one. I'm not really a fan of the point of view shot type film. But given what they were doing, with the whole trip around the world thing, I can understand why they did it like that. And I would say it worked to their advantage. So needless to say, it's about two guys who decide to go on a trip around the world, and one of them gets infected by something, and it turns out it was by a vampire, and then one of them slowly turning into a vampire, and they don't realize it at first. They get infected in France, but they find out when they're in Italy. And there's all these horrific things that go on, such as, they're trying to get blood, and they're having a hard time doing it. And, they have to go into a blood bank, and that's a disaster. And the guy ends up killing his friend, and he buries him, and he gets found out by the police, and he ends up escaping and decides to go back to France, where he met this lady to try and find some answers. And it's not just horror, there's action too. And I was impressed by the special effects. Still don't know how they did that, but they did. It was top notch. For an indie horror picture, this is excellent. Even though what I said about the point of view shot type of style.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there's some of them that really, there's good POV films and there's bad POV films.
Yeah, but here it works.
Yeah, very much so.
So, what would I give this for a rating? I would.
How many Christopher Highlands are you going to give it?
I would say 3 and 3 3/4 out of 5.
3 3/4 out of 5 Christopher Highlands, huh? Okay. Yeah, the thing is, people, we're starting a new system here. We're doing Christopher Highlands, and we're doing William Pattison's.
Hey, come on.
So it works out really cool.
Let's not do that.
Oh, come on. It's a big thing now on YouTube.
Really? Other shows are doing that?
Yeah. They are.
Oh, so we have to copy everything everyone else is doing?
Well, some of the good stuff, yeah.
Okay, so next is a rather obscure movie. I thought this was a Hammer horror movie, but I guess it's not. It's called Grave of the Vampire. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I've heard of Grave of the Vampire. I think it's Italian.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay.
It's rather low budget. It's from, I think, either 74 or 75.
Oh, okay. Okay, so probably one of the other independent ones that came up around Hammer during the 70s. There's a lot of them.
I don't know. Well, this movie starts out, I'd say, somewhere in the early 50s, that this couple stops off in a graveyard of all places to make out. I don't know why, but they do. Probably so they won't get caught. And so they're making out, and nearby there's this above ground crypt that slowly gets pushed open by this vampire who's inside it. And he's all decrepit looking, and he stumbles upon the car with the couple making out inside, and so he drags the guy out and attacks him, and then goes after the girl, and it's later discovered that the vampire rapes her. And she gives birth to the vampire's son. And it's discovered that the son is a vampire when he won't eat or drink anything except blood when the mother accidentally cuts her finger. So he grows up, and I don't know, it's just, the mother just, she's not really that old when she dies, but they give her makeup to make her look old, and it's not very good makeup, but, you know, we expect from an extremely low-budget movie. And so he decides to try and find his father, and which he does, and which he's hiding out as a history professor at some college or university. And so he takes the professor's course, and he meets some of the class, other ladies in the class, and some of them get attacked, and it all culminates at this, I don't want to say party, but at this gathering where a few of the people from the class go to the professor's, I guess you could call it a mansion or townhouse or whatever. And one of them confronts him by saying, you know, we know you're a vampire and blah, blah, blah. And he locks them in this one room, and one of them is a cop, and he says, "Oh, we're not worried that that you're a vampire," and the vampire proceeds to prove them wrong. And one by one, he kills them all except for the son who's there. He manages to get locked out of the room, but he bursts through the door, and they end up fighting. And the professor says he demands to know who the guy is, and he finally tells them, "Oh, I'm your son." And the son manages to kill the vampire, and he slowly comes after the final girl, and it ends with the end, or is it? with a big question mark.
Oh yeah, I love those.
So, going into this movie, I wasn't really expecting much, but as it went on, it manages to get better. So, there's that. As for a rating, I would say I give this a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. So 3.5 for Highlands.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, what do you have?
Alrighty. I've got some interesting films. One of them you're going to be sitting there going, "Oh no, you can't talk about that." But anyways, the first one is called Doll Cemetery.
When's that from?
It's a new one. It's a new release. It's a British horror film, and it's a royally Z grade one. Tells the story of Brendan Cobbs, a famous author who ends up getting sent by his agent to a remote cottage in rural England to find inspiration for his next novel. You know, if that hasn't been done a half dozen times. Well, when he gets to the cottage, he finds a life-size doll there, which he finds out was named Alfred. Alfred the doll. And weird things start happening. He meets a whole bunch of weird people. When he was actually heading to the cottage, he's stopped by this sexy woman who tries to make the moves on him and walks him to near the cottage. He later finds out that she's the daughter of the neighbor, and the thing is that she's in a wheelchair, which doesn't make sense. Because when he sees her, she's all tarted up and wearing a red dress and stuff and standing right in the middle of this dirt road. Anyways, yeah, he deals with a lot of weird people. And anyways, this film is just horribly written. And they try to turn it into almost like a Wicker Man type thing, where Alfred the doll is the one controlling everybody. You know, he makes these rules that people have to go by, or they lose. And so the thing is that the author refuses to obey any of these rules. So at the end, all the people in the area go and grab him and take him to Alfred's cemetery, where all these authors are that Alfred had been sent to, and the thing is that the author's agent is there, and he's kind of like the high priest of the Alfred cult, And so they go and they bash in Brendan Cobb's head and bury him alive. Yeah. I went into everything and did spoilers on it because there is nothing worthy in this movie to have anybody go and see it because it's a piece of crap. The production values are shit. It looks like somebody had a cottage in the woods in England and just used it to shoot this piece of shit movie because you never saw anybody. The only other scenes that you see are take place in this bar. And it's just one set, and you're shot, and it's shot from pretty much one direction. So really wonderful production values here. Just oh god, ghastly. God, I I think this movie was made for probably about maybe about $500.
Yeah, it was made specifically for the purpose to torture Eric Morse.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, even the doll was a piece of crap. I mean, it was a freaky looking doll, but it was still a piece of crap. And you could tell when they had the doll walking around that it was a kid in the doll suit. And all they did is they took the doll suit off the kid and put it on a mannequin or something. So, anyways, yeah, I give this since we're doing halves, I give this a half William Pattison. A half William Pattison. Let's put it that way. Because it is complete and utter fucking garbage. Alrighty. So, next film is another new film that just came out. I watched it on Amazon. It is called Witches in the Woods, and it's another low budget film. And it's very typical. You would think they'd get tired of doing these type of films, but they don't. Anyways, it's about Jill, a tenacious University of Massachusetts freshman who abandons her studies for an off-the-grid snowboarding trip. And the thing is that they go and the guy driving, who's the group asshole, decides to take what he thinks is a shortcut. So anyways, what ends up happening is the car breaks down. They're in these woods that they had went to this gas station, and the thing was that one of the girls picked up a pamphlet that talked about the witch trials that happened and that there had been witches in the woods and that the township had killed them all and that they were haunting the woods. So anyways, they get they get stuck. It starts snowing. The temperatures go down. And the one girl and her boyfriend go off to try to get help. And what ends up happening is the girl comes back. She's acting weird, and she is covered in the guy's blood. And so things start falling apart. People start arguing. The one girl gets into a fight in the car and ends up getting a ski pole stuck through her neck. And so she's bleeding all over the place, and the ones have to try to bind her neck and stuff. And they think that the one girl is possessed. So, anyways, the thing is that two of the guys go out. They're trying to find help, and one guy gets his foot stuck in a bear trap. The other guy ends up getting knifed in the neck by a friend of his, by his friend, because the guy's all paranoid and stuff. And anyway, so it ends up, to the point where there's a final girl, and the one guy is absolutely nuts. She ends up knocking him out, and she runs into the other girl who they think was possessed. But the thing is that what it was that she hadn't been taking her pills. And she had fits. So anyways, what ends up happening is the one girl kills the other one. Not the one that's supposedly sane kills the one that she thinks is possessed. And right then, help comes. Believe it or not. The sheriff's department, and she's caught killing her friend. So anyways, the storyline on this is basically it's paranoia. Wasn't well done. They tried, but I'm sorry, but this kind of film, this would have been fine in the 90s, but here in 2019, in 2020 and 2019, no. So I'll give Witches in the Woods 2 William Pattisons because the production value was a little bit better than Doll Cemetery, I'll tell you. Anything would be better than Doll Cemetery. Alrighty, so here we go for our last review. And this is one that Mr. Highland's going to appreciate, even though he's going to scream at me.
What?
We can't have this. We can't do this. It's not horror. Alrighty. My final review is on Disney's Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I knew it. I was getting that one. So anyways, this is the sequel to the original, live-action Maleficent film. And this film is about what happens after the story of Sleeping Beauty. Continues the story. It's years later. Princess Aurora is she's being taken care of by Maleficent, the horned demon lady. And the thing is that that Aurora has decided that she wants to get married. She wants to get married to her Prince Charming, Prince Philip. And the thing is that Prince Philip's family is in the next valley across the lake from where Maleficent and all the Fae folk are. And the king's a nice guy. His name's King John, and he's played by Robert Lindsay. The queen is a complete and utter bitch. Queen Ingrid, who is played by Michelle Pfeiffer. And I know Mr. Highland's go, no, not Michelle Pfeiffer. I love Catwoman. That's Catwoman. But anyways, the thing is that the king is an idiot. He's a sentimental idiot. And his wife is the one that's secretly manipulating things behind the scenes. She hates the Fae folk. She wants them destroyed so that she can take over their valley, because their valley is good land, for like farming and stuff. And she wants to take their resources. So she's planned to use Aurora's wedding to her son Prince Philip as a way to destroy the Fae folk. Now, what she ends up doing is she goes and sets up Maleficent, Angelina Jolie's character. Because Maleficent, did the whole Sleeping Beauty thing. Well, she tries to make it look like Maleficent got angry at her husband, King John, and put the sleeping curse on him. So, anyway, so she's setting up. She's got a rogue elf. Played by I think it was God, I can't remember who I think it was the one from the Ewoks. You remember the one that played Wicket, Mr. Highland?
Oh, you mean the guy who played Leprechaun?
Yeah, Warwick Davis. Yeah, he's this rogue elf, and he's set Queen Ingrid with these bombs that turns Fae folk into trees. And Queen Ingrid's assistant, the Fae folk come for Aurora's wedding, and she has this special pipe organ set up that it puts out the Fae bombs smoke that comes out of it. So all these fae folk that are sitting there waiting for the big event start getting turned into trees and stuff. And so, and then the thing is that the fae folk have to fight. The thing is that earlier Angelina Jolie's character, escaped because they were going to try to execute her. And she ends up finding her own people. The flying horned demon people. And so she brings them back with her, and there's like this huge battle. But anyways, it's a good movie. I just want to tell you, it is a good movie. Maleficent is not the Empress of Evil in this. The title of this film is totally wrong. They originally, amusingly enough, a piece of trivia on this was that in Europe, they actually released the original Maleficent movie as Maleficent Empress of Evil. So when they put out this film, they used the better title of Maleficent 2 as the title for this. But anyways, yeah, this one is great. The special effects are great. The acting is great. Michelle Pfeiffer plays a horrible bitch in this movie. And Angelina Jolie's really good as Maleficent again, as is Ellie Fanning as Aurora. So I highly recommend this film. I give it 4.5 out of 5 William Pattisons. So, what do you think, Mr. Highland?
I haven't seen those movies, so I really can't say.
Yeah. But now it's encouraging you to actually go watch them, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not horror. But I thought you'd like it because of the fact that you're into the fae folk and that kind of thing. I know for Mr. Highland, nothing will do better than the original Disney Sleeping Beauty, right? Yep. See, every time he does that, he does the intake of air. I know it's Mr. silently rebucking me for the oh God, no, oh God. That's just like me with the sallow thing. so yeah. So now it's you doing the noises. Alrighty, so now it is time for our music break and that. So we'll catch you in a few minutes.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna go get some coffee and get some water and be ready for the big talk on the big movie of the evening. So catch you in a bit.
About the library like she told her old man now. And with the radio blast and goes cruising just as fast as she can now. And she'll have fun, fun, fun till her daddy takes a T-bird away. Fun, fun, fun till her daddy takes a T-bird away. Girls can't stand her 'cause she walks, looks and drives like an ace. You walk like an ace now, you walk like an ace. She makes the Indy 500 look like a Roman chariot race. Like an ace now, you look like an ace. A lot of guys try to catch her, but she leads them on a wild goose chase. Like an ace now, you drive like an ace. She'll have fun, fun, fun till her daddy takes a T-bird away. Fun, fun, fun till her daddy takes a T-bird away.
Nicule. Thank you for calling USA Prime Credit. My name is Peggy.
You have problem?
Peggy? Okay, I've been waiting for 15 minutes for someone to
Pick up.
You're tenacious like bull. I like.
Please hold.
No, Peg.
So pretty.
Want better customer service? Switch to Discover, where you can talk to a real person in less than a minute. It pays to Discover.
Hello, my she-devils and demons. This is Nurse Hatchet, she-wolf of the Wolf Pack.
Alrighty now, we're back. And it's time for us to talk about the movie. You know that, Paulie? Are you there, Paulie? Hey, yo.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Oh boy, and we got a good one for this.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This
This
looks like
one's-
it was made by Trauma, doesn't it?
Somewhat.
Oh.
I mean, it was the time that it was made. It's the 80s, and
Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, it's the budget.
hey, you know what? I mean, it's got Burt Young in it. That's
And
That-
don't forget who else?
yeah, the other guy.
John Saxon.
Mm-hmm. Saxon. So the thing is, I mean, you got two good stars, and this was Burt Young right after he did Rocky.
No.
No, what do you mean?
No, he did other stuff.
Well, of course he did, but I mean, he also did Rocky as well.
No, I think it was right after he did Rocky 2.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm a little punch drunk, But anyways, yeah, so yeah, Burt Young from Rocky in this, and this film didn't this film come out pretty much a little while after Jaws?
A few years after it.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can see where they got the inspiration for the storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was to be expected. I mean, you had movies like the Piranha movies.
Oh, yeah.
So there was that, and then this, which is not quite the same, but
No. This is far superior to their Piranha movies.
oh,
Yeah.
really?
Big old blockbuster, fantastic, Steven Spielberg type film.
This has a bigger budget than Piranha.
Yeah, actually, it did.
Oh,
Because you forget that Roger Corman did Piranha.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. And Roger does really low budgets. This one had a little bit more budget to it.
Oh,
You look at the camera work on it and that, you can tell that there's a lot better camera work than Piranha.
yeah, I guess so.
A little bit more atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, let go ahead, Mr. Highland, do yours.
There's really not much to to tell about this movie except that there's some sort of creature beneath the sand in this beach at I can't remember what beach, but it's at this famous beach where they have that long, I want to say dock, but you know what I mean, where the pier, that's it. The long pier that stretches out onto the beach.
Yeah, it's a boardwalk.
But that's it, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a lesser known boardwalk. And the thing is that it's pretty much dying from urban blight.
Oh.
Because a lot of the people were, remember they were talking about how people were leaving and stuff, and they have like maybe the one snack bar there that everyone goes to.
That's not the famous Santa Monica Pier, is it?
Probably is.
Okay.
But this one, well, this one's an imaginary one but they use Santa Monica Pier for the shooting.
Yeah, I thought so. So there's some sort of creature beneath the sand, and at first swallows up this older lady, and she just disappears beneath the sand, and her daughter comes to try and find out what happened to her. And she meets up with the, I don't want to say Coast Guard, but the...
Yes, like Coast Guard guy. He's the security ones for the boardwalk and that.
And they have a history together, and so they end up, they talk and they get reacquainted, and in the midst of all this, some more people get swallowed up, and one person gets just mutilated.
Yep, they've mutilated.
And a dog gets mutilated as well. And in one part, some lady gets stupidly let out onto the sand because her hat blows off her head. And I thought, come on, you can move faster than that. I mean, and also, I mean, it was windy. I mean, you should have had your hand on top of your head to keep the hat from blowing off.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of it is, in the story is like, like Jaws, what ends up happening is because of all the murders, it starts bringing people in, and people are going, oh yeah, we gotta go to Blood Beach.
Yeah.
So you start getting more people out there and more murders and stuff. And the guy's trying to figure this out because he's smitten with his girlfriend, and then of course you got the actual cops of the area, which amazes me. They got what was his name, Zuko?
Yeah,
Burt Young's one, and he's supposed to be from Chicago.
Yeah.
But he didn't sound like Chicago. He sounded more like New York or Philadelphia.
Well, hey, I mean, come on, they did the best they could. I mean, it's not like they actually...
they did Paulie for Chicago. They wanted him because
it's not like they're gonna spend the budget to actually do voice coaching for the right dialect.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
and plus
I know they should, but they're not going to.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is that they basically chose him because he looks like a gangster. And they always associate
I don't think it was.
Chicago
Come on, it could
with
have been that.
gangsters and stuff. Oh no. Oh no, that's what it is. And he's like,
No, they just picked it because they thought, oh, you look enough like a detective. So here, you're in.
Yeah, right.
No.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they had what, he looked like Columbo?
No, I was gonna say he looked like Harvey Bullock from the Batman comics and cartoon.
Well, yeah, he does. And Harvey's actually Chicago because of everybody knows Gotham now.
Well, not just
That's
but the guy who does the voice in the cartoon. He's from Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, yeah, we know that. Well, the thing is, in real.
Hello?
Christopher Highland.
You keep fading in and out.
Oh yeah. I keep sending out the fact that your secret identity is the clown terror of Chicago. Alrighty. I won't tell him anymore that Mr. Highland's weekend thing is going up to people and throwing pies in their faces and chasing them down the street with an axe. Yeah, you and Greg Russell Titterington. Though actually, Greg can't help you anymore because he's locked out of America. You heard about that, right?
No.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Greg can't come on to into America because he got in trouble.
What kind of trouble? I don't understand.
He was making money in America without getting the right paperwork. Much like what Jen and Sylvia was doing there, but they got away with it because they're cute girls. But Greg couldn't get that, so he's kind of blocked out of coming back to America. But anyways, let's get back to our epic movie. And anyways, they do find a whole shitload of bodies.
Yeah, but this is because there's some sort of abandoned wrecked shell of a building. It's the basement of a abandoned building.
Yeah, one that got burned down.
Yeah,
the top part was burned down, and it's been abandoned for a long time, and that was the reason why the I think it was the video game area or something, and it got burned down, so that's what's caused the boardwalk to lose money and stuff. But anyways, yeah, that's Monster Central. That's its nest.
Yeah.
And I love it. Just like Jaws, they bring in their expert, and they're not listening to the expert, of course, which is funny as hell. And I love when they finally reveal the monster. I mean, that was just fantastic. Mr. Highland.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was when they really brought in the budget. that unique incredible piece of work that they did for the monster.
As I said last month, it was just like if Jim Henson's production or Sesame Street made the monster.
Really?
Yeah, you don't think so? This is an extremely low budget version of Tremors.
Yeah, well, Tremors was worms, and this thing looked like a big old daisy. That's what blew me away. I mean, when I first saw it in the movie theater, everyone when they saw that monster, they were laughing their asses off. What and hearing what the fuck? Because this is California, we say what the fuck all over the place. So, yeah, hearing an entire thing with all these kids and stuff, with their parents watching watching a horror film, and it's like, what the fuck comes out from all these people? And people were just laughing their asses off when they see this thing when it opens up. It's big old leaves and shows its thing, and it's like, what the fuck?
Well, at least it didn't start singing. That would have been too much.
No, I mean there was like, what was it, a howl or something that came out of it or something?
Yeah.
And then they blew the damn thing up.
Yeah, I mean, if that basement wasn't there, I mean, they probably wouldn't have been able to get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite the thing, though. I mean, people actually sat there and thought, "Oh yeah, this is going to scare people at the end of this movie." after all the, because one thing I did find about this movie is that up until that point, it really had some scare factor to it. When you're younger and when you were living in that time period, where now, if Blood Beach came out now, nobody would even give it a second thought. But
well, I think if they had it now, the budget would be bigger and there would be more. There would certainly be a lot more blood.
Oh yeah.
I mean, don't you think there would be, a geyser of blood every time someone got sucked into the sand?
Probably, but I mean that was part of the scare factor, was that the people got pulled in, and and what was left, just this little round deal where they got pulled in.
Yeah, and not only that, I think if it was made today, there would be certainly more dark humor. I mean, there was some humor to the movie.
Oh yeah, I love the homeless lady. She was great.
Yeah, you expect her to get it, but no.
Crazy basket doll lady don't get it, which blows my mind. It's all these other people. God. And then of course, at the end, they don't listen to as I said, they don't listen to the damn expert, and he says, don't blow him up. Don't blow him up. It's, after seeing what it is, figures that it would, all the pieces would regenerate, and you'd have an entire beach full of these things. which is kind of amusing because that's what was assumed at the end.
Yeah.
Uh, the one thing I can say about Blood Beach was that it did have the atmosphere. The atmosphere did help this film. I mean, there
Yes.
wasn't much to it. The budget wasn't that great. The monster definitely was, you ended up laughing at it more than anything else, but like a lot of films, they knew how to build tension. They knew how to do atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah, it was shot well.
Yeah,
I have to give it that.
yeah, and character wise, it had some character stuff in it. So I mean, you had good characters and that, but it was done on a budget, and you had the tacky monster at the end. But that was a big thing with monster films in the 80s. You had a lot of them that they built a lot of tension. I think there was about a half dozen stuff like that. I mean, look at Chud.
Yeah.
A good build up, but when the Chuds actually came out, it was like, fuck, man, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
well, at least it wasn't, how they were in Chud 2.
No, Bud the Chud. Oh God, please save me. But yeah, I could see Derek Young doing Blood Beach too.
Yeah, more blood, more budget, more dark humor.
Derek? Yeah, maybe. you know, I don't know if he could get John Saxon back. Probably could for a couple of days, or at least one day.
Or get or what's his name? Button, who was Button Chud 2, Garrett Graham.
Oh God.
No?
Oh sure, sure. Why not? You know. But anyways, yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna see the uh blockbuster sequel to Blood Beach.
No. Remake is more feasible.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to be doing that.
Oh, come on. How do you know? You never know.
Yeah, well,
It's possible. I mean, with all the crazy movies that they've been making, like those Sharknado movies and that big ass tarantula movie that they made a few years ago.
oh, I love Big Ass Tarantula.
Yeah. I mean, if they can make
Yeah,
that,
well, that's Mike
they can do
Mendez, my
that.
buddy.
If they can make those movies, then they can make a remake of Blood Beach.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that would be more Mike Mendez's thing. Oh, yeah, we can do Blood Beach. Oh, my God, Mr. Highland. There we go. Jen and Sylvia Sauskas does a feminist version of Blood Beach. All female cast. They don't even change the monster yet. Oh my God, that would be funny as shit.
You have to wonder whatever happened to that special effect thing that they made for the movie of the monster. Probably in some I don't know, who knows, warehouse somewhere.
Yeah, probably in a warehouse
think?
place,
Yeah.
or either that, or they're using it for some off-Broadway production of Little House of Horrors. You know, because that's another thing that came to mind was it reminded me of the Little Shop of Horrors monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Highland's just sitting there going, "What the fuck is Audrey doing there?" Probably first thought that came into your mind, huh?
No. I thought it looked like a turtle.
You thought it looked like a turtle.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. A big old uh daisy monster. Oh my fucking god. God. This movie messes me up. Yep. Such a fun movie. So, anyways, yeah. So that was a fun piece of the 80s, huh, Mr. Highland?
Yes.
Actually, yeah, because I mean, as I said, 80s was an interesting time. Everyone sits there and tries to say, oh, we're doing an 80s style this. These people don't understand the 80s. The 80s was an experimental time. They did a lot of interesting films in the 80s. They did a lot of shit ass films too, but you know, you know, but they were always trying something new. They didn't stick to a certain thing. They didn't do like what they started doing in the 90s, and then through half of through what was it, 2010, 2013, just having the same generic type of people. They always had interesting characters in that. They always tried to make the film interesting. It wasn't just all blood, which these idiots think. Oh, all that matters in an 80s horror film is blood and gore. No. 80s horror films had a lot more to them than what these idiots, really see. They forget so much about what was good about the 80s. And Blood Beach is one of those interesting films. I mean, shoot, you also had around the same time they did the movie The Dark, which had a disappointing monster, but it had a fantastic buildup. You remember that one, don't you, Mr. Highland?
No.
It was supposed to be an alien monster, but it looked like kind of like an orc with laser eyes.
Who was in it?
I love that film though. And what the alien monster would do is he'd pretend to be a blind guy with a stick. And he had glasses on, and he'd hide under a trench coat and stuff, and walk
No.
the streets, and all you'd hear is this click, click, click. And
I didn't see that one.
and they had this music. It was the music that actually made the movie. Because the music had these voices in the background, and you'd hear the darkness, and you'd hear it's coming to get you, and that kind of thing. Very, very low tones in the background of the music, and that scared the crap out of you. You know, if you ever get a chance, Mr. Highland, I know there's about 6 movies now called The Dark, but this one was the one from the 70s. And God, I'll have to give you the name of the actors who were in it, but this one takes place in San Francisco, or no, I guess it's LA. I think it's LA. But anyways, the main character reminds me of Stephen King, even though, you know, Stephen King wasn't famous at the time. But interesting film. You know, once you see that, we need to do a show on that too, The Dark, because that movie is a rare one.
Okay.
Alrighty, so I guess that's it for Blood Beach.
Yeah.
Alrighty, any idea of what we're going to be doing next month? If
Well,
we
I
next
told
month?
you already. It's Joe Dante's movie matinee.
Oh yes. Yes, I'm intrigued if I can actually find the movie to watch again. I used to have it in my collection, but you know, everything got damaged, and I actually had it on a terabyte drive, and it died on me. So I lost over 1,000 movies that I'd gotten. So, anyways, you know, I'll figure a way. I mean, you know, if you can find some place to view it, I'll go where you go.
Well, you know me, I get my movies from the library.
Yeah, don't.
But that's just one. That's just one option.
Yeah. Possibly either that, or I'll see if YouTube has it, or if Daily Motion, or one of those. You know, I got my resources too.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, anyways, any last words for the fans?
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and thanks for the fan mail, and tune in next time.
Yes, indeed. And if you like what we're doing here on YouTube and Vimeo, subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Vimeo, because you know, that tells us that we're doing good for you. And you know, we're not monetized, so it's just, you know, knowing that we have our fans out there that keeps us going. So, as I said, you know, if you like what we're doing, subscribe or follow us. Alrighty, so As always, keep America strong. Watch horror films.
The love that you bring me along. The pain that you gives me a home. Do you wanna stay by my side? Do you want me to turn and hide? We are disappearing inside, seeing pictures of our goodbyes. We believe that our love will survive the pain that you bring. Brings me all alone. Do you love me? Do you hate me? Do you wanna believe me? Do you think that you don't need me? Do you wanna deceive me? I can't think that it's all over. Don't wanna forget. I can't live this disappointment down. I wanna repress your goodbye, goodbye. The design, we broke them all. The dreams when you see that goodbyes aren't for long. Please follow me to the borders of destiny. I don't wanna break from your side. The falling ground screams goodbye. Do you love me? Do you hate me? Do you wanna believe me? Do you think that you don't need me? Do you wanna deceive me? I can't think that it's all over. Don't wanna forget. I can't live this disappointment down. I wanna repress your goodbye, goodbye. The design, we broke them all. The dreams when you see that goodbyes aren't for long. Please follow me to the borders of destiny. I don't wanna break from your side. The falling ground screams goodbye. Please follow me to the borders of destiny. I don't wanna break from your side. The falling ground screams goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. The design, we broke the mold. The dreams when you see that goodbye so for long.